Acting Counsel, a play by C.S. Whitcomb. Act 1, Scene 1. At Rise, office of a young attorney at law. Not too many years past the bar exam days. Bookshelves with the usual legal references, a large old oak desk, center overflowing with papers, boxes of case files, court transcripts, and research. Lawrence, said attorney, sits hunched over the desk. 2 chairs for clients on the opposite side of the desk, both piled with paper. Phone, desk lamp, overflowing wastebasket, several empty cardboard coffee cups around. Lawrence is tense. He looks like he hasn't slept a lot lately, like he is neck deep in a tough case that is kicking his ass. Sound of a knock on the outer door. Lawrence doesn't even register it. Then a knock on the door to his office. He looks up as the door opens and an old man looks in. This is C.D. Booth, 83, tall, thin, smart.
You the lawyer?
I'm sorry?
What kind of lawyer can't afford a secretary?
I have one, though they don't call them secretaries anymore.
No, what do they call them? Paralegals?
Assistants.
Same thing happened to stewardesses. Now they call them flight technicians or some damn thing.
Attendants.
So she's out to lunch at 3:45 in the afternoon?
Worse. She's out on maternity leave.
Huh. How long?
4 months.
4 months? Ooh, you're generous.
I don't think she's coming back. She likes wee Henry David more than she likes me.
She named her baby after Thoreau?
Huh, funny. Somehow that never occurred to me. But I don't think she's the Walden Pond type.
Yeah, I need a lawyer. You taking new clients?
Sorry. Did you try to make an appointment?
Would that have helped?
Maybe.
You busy now?
Well, yes, I am. I'm working on a case. What kind of lawyer do you need?
I'm 83 years old. You think we could talk about this sitting down?
Lawrence stands up, goes around to the front client chair.
Sorry.
Moves the stack of papers from the chair to a carefully selected spot on the floor.
I guess you don't get a lot of walk-in traffic.
No, not a lot. No. Lawrence Taylor.
Offers his hand. Booth shakes it.
C.D. Booth.
They sit on opposite sides of the desk.
Booth. I think I know who you are. You're an actor, right?
Yes.
I've seen you in a play or two around town.
You might have done.
Is Booth your real name?
Why wouldn't it be?
Oh, the most famous American theater family of the 19th century? I'm guessing either you're related to them or you took their name.
And most people only remember John Wilkes Booth.
Yeah, that's a shame. For Edwin and their father and all their clan, are they your family?
No. In the Screen Actors Guild, you can't have the same name as another person, and there were too many Millers, so I took Booth.
And the CD?
Oh, yeah, my mother would have rolled over in her grave if I'd changed that.
Named you for one of her heroes or for her father?
Hero, Clarence Darrow.
No kidding. Hey, wait a minute. I saw you play Darrow on stage.
Which one?
Clarence.
Yeah, funny. I mean, which play? I played him 3 times in 3 different plays.
Really? I didn't know there were 3 plays.
Probably more than 3. I did the one-man show, Inherit the Wind, and the Great Tennessee Monkey Trial.
I saw the one-man show. You were great in that.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You know, I'm a criminal attorney. Do you have a problem that might fall into that category?
No.
Well, good. So what brings you in to see me?
A friend of mine got busted for a baggie of weed in his glove compartment, and you helped him out. He says you were good and reasonable.
Okay.
Stuart Remington?
Oh, right. But that involved something that was a crime at the time.
I know. My situation is less complicated. It shouldn't take a guy like you more than half an hour, tops. Just pull up one of those form documents on your computer and fill in a few blanks. I'll sign. Get it notarized or witnessed or whatever it takes. You can be the witness, or if that'll speed things up,
What kind of document are you looking for?
a will. You can probably get a blank form online, but I don't trust those things. The do-it-yourself legal documents. I mean, what if there's a comma out of place and the whole thing gets thrown out? I don't want to take that chance.
So, a simple will.
Yeah, simple.
What kind of estate do you have?
Just a house. Shouldn't take long. What's your hourly rate?
$350.
$350 an hour? Jesus H. Christ. That's about what you make doing theater in a town like Portland per week for 6 performances.
Oh, yeah, well, law school is expensive. Do you have any family?
A couple of ex-wives, but that's not what I'd call family.
Got it.
Like Mickey Rooney said after divorce number 8, next time I feel like getting married, I'll just find a woman I hate and buy her a house.
Usually when someone gets divorced in this state, his divorce attorney will revise his will as part of the deal, just to be sure it's updated and the ex-spouse doesn't unintentionally inherit.
Well, I didn't get that fringe Benny.
Still, your divorce attorney might be able to help you do that. I mean, make a new will.
He retired.
Huh.
And then he died.
Well, that makes it pretty final then, I guess.
Somebody told me if I die without a will or next of kin, the state gets my house. Is that true?
If you die intestate with no kin, yeah, that could happen.
That's not okay. I bought my house in 1965 for $34,000. It's worth around $350,000 now. And after 30 years of payments, it's completely paid off.
Oh, good for you.
It's not rocket science. Anybody can do it with time and a little money.
And I'm sure many do.
Well, my point is I worked hard and it took a long time. I didn't do it for the state and the state didn't do shit for me. So I consider us even. The state can't have my house. I don't like the state.
You'll definitely need a will.
Yeah.
You're looking for someone in elder law or family law. I can give you a couple names.
You got a law school diploma hanging right there on the wall. You're telling me you can't draw up a simple will that'll hold water?
It's not a question of my not knowing how to do one.
I'll pay. How long could it take?
I don't have time to take any new clients right now.
You have better things to do, bigger things, more important things?
Yes.
And what kind of things would that be?
If I tell you, will you go get another lawyer?
I might. If I agree with you. And what is it? Some billionaire CEO who accidentally tossed his girlfriend off his penthouse balcony?
No, he's an 18-year-old kid I'm trying to get off death row.
For murder? Huh. I mean, what else do they execute people for?
Right, for murder.
Is he guilty?
Yes.
And you're trying to get him off because somebody's paying you the big bucks.
Nobody's paying me for this. I'm doing it pro bono.
While you're turning away paying clients?
Yes.
You can afford to do that?
Not really, no.
Mm-hmm. You're not exactly what I was expecting to find in a lawyer, but I can work with it.
Okay. Full disclosure, I also saw your Lear Twice.
Really? I didn't think anybody would want to sit through King Lear Twice.
Yeah, well, hey, listen. I have a proposition for you. I'll write your will for free.
What am I, a charity case?
No, not at all. We do an exchange of services.
And what would you want from me? Perform Willie Loman at your kid's birthday party?
No, no, nothing like that. Listen, I'm trying to get a retrial with a new jury. And when I do, I'm going to need to deliver a closing argument worthy of Clarence Darrow, as blood-stirring as your Lear storm scene, a summation so heart-stopping that it could save a kid's life. I want you to teach me how to do that.
Literally? A matter of life and death?
Yes. But his life won't be on your head. It's on mine. You'd just be the acting coach.
Is that all?
Well, it'll have to be a crash course.
Now listen, I'm not against the death penalty personally.
Well, neither am I. There are some people who are not fully human, sociopaths, psychopaths, monsters who take pleasure in torturing and killing. I mean, the world would be better off without them. They can be executed, and I wouldn't give them a second thought.
You don't agree with Anne Frank, that everyone is fundamentally good at heart?
No. And when she wrote that in her diary, she hadn't met any actual Nazis yet. So
Your client, this kid, he's not one of these monsters.
no, he's a kid who's had a long string of bad breaks from the beginning.
Who'd he kill?
A retired high school music teacher by the name of Tom Daggett.
Oh, shit.
Oh, you knew him.
Well, not personally, but I'm in the theater. Every young musical comedy kid in town studied with the guy. He was a legend, everybody's favorite high school teacher.
Yeah.
And I saw on the news that 10,000 people came to his funeral. They had to use the football stadium. And 500 of his ex-students stood up and sang the Hallelujah chorus. Not a dry eye in the place. Hell, the local news team was crying on the air. Men too.
Yeah. So you see what I'm up against.
Well, didn't a guy break into his house and kill him with a shotgun?
Yes.
Well, you're nuts. How do you plan to get the guy off? And more importantly, why would you want to?
It's a long story.
Well, luckily, you're talking to an old man who has nothing but time. Why in the hell are you trying to get him off?
I'm not trying to get him off, just off death row.
You know, they haven't executed anybody in Oregon in a long time, years, right?
Not since 1962.
So there's not much chance of him being killed.
Well, you never know. Political administrations can turn over on a dime. In the last few years, a lot of states have brought back the death penalty.
You know, it always seems crazy to me that the religious right-wing zealots who holler about pro-life, no fetus too tiny to save, they're the same people fighting for machine guns and the death penalty. It seems to me the pro-lifers are more pro-death than anybody else.
Yeah, I hear you. Anyway, the next election is not something you should bet your life on, or anybody's life.
Okay, but even granting that, what's the difference between being on death row or in with the other prisoners?
Death row is solitary. He's already been alone for 2 years. It's no way for a young person to live. In the general population, you can take college classes, go to church services, AA meetings. It's a kind of social life with other men in the same situation. Plus, on the road, there's always the added stress of not knowing whether and when they're gonna kill you.
He's 18 now?
Yeah,
So he was 16 when this happened.
just.
But how does a 16-year-old kid get sentenced to death?
He was tried as an adult.
Yeah, but it doesn't sound like it was planned. No premeditation. That's not even murder in the first degree. Were you his lawyer then?
No.
I mean, somebody must have screwed it up pretty good.
Let's just say that the judge and the jury took it personally. I can't think of anyone in the state they would have been more upset about being killed than Tom Daggett.
The guy who created The Simpsons, maybe.
Well, he's famous. This was personal. Part of what I'm trying to do is get him retried in another county where not everyone knew Mr. Daggett, with a jury of people who haven't got their minds already made up.
What are your chances?
Shitty. But lousy odds are better than none at all.
Right. So you need a crash course in acting 101.
Well, I don't need you to teach me everything.
Yeah, what do you want me to leave out?
The acting for TV commercials, how to do Ukrainian accent.
Okay.
Just coach me on this one speech. You can do that, right?
Oh, sure. My Ukrainian accent sucks anyway.
Hey, are you still acting?
No,
Why not?
I can't. I can play the parts. There are a ton of parts I'm perfect for at my age, apart from Lear. On Golden Pond, The Man Who Came to Dinner, Big Daddy, Prospero. Hell, at my age, I could play the shit out of a goddamn son of a bitch and Moses.
Why don't you?
I can't memorize the lines anymore. Pisses me off. I can remember every single word verbatim of things I played at 20, but a new play, oh, can't get the goddamn lines to stick.
Can you really remember the lines from 50 years ago?
60 even. Oh, what a rogue and peasant slave am I. Is it not monstrous that this player here, but in a fiction, in a dream of passion, could force his soul to his own conceit, that from her working all his visage wound, tears in his eyes, distraction in his aspect, a broken voice, and the whole function suiting with forms to his conceit, and all for nothing. For Hecuba, what's Hecuba to him, or he to Hecuba, that he should weep for her?
What would he do? Had he the motive and the cue for passion that I have?
He would drown the stage with tears.
Pounding from upstairs chambers in the office building.
Sorry about that.
You seem to know the lines yourself. You play Hamlet?
No, not an actor. Not even in school. I'm just a fan of the bard. How old were you when you played Hamlet?
22, 34, and God help me, 40.
Which was the best?
The second. We had a ghost that looked like Raymond Massey. He broke my heart every night.
Man, I wish I'd seen it.
Well, you, my young friend, were not yet a twinkle in the milkman's eye.
So, who did you want to leave your house to?
I'm working on that. Just leave the line blank and I can fill it in later.
I can't do that.
Sure you can.
I, Clarence Darrow Booth, a.k.a. Miller, being of sound mind and body, do hereby bequeath all my worldly goods to not the state.
I said I'm working on it.
Okay, well, let me know.
So where do you want to work on your summation?
Well, what's wrong with here?
Oh, we can't work here.
Well, why not?
Blow, winds, and crack your cheeks. Rage, blow, you cataracts and hurricanos. Spout till you have drenched the steeples, drowned the cocks. You sulphurous and thought-executing fires.
Pounding on the floor above. Lawrence understands.
Oak cleaving thunderbolts, singe my white head, and there all shaking thunder strike flat the thick rotundity of the world.
More pounding. Somebody upstairs is getting seriously pissed off.
Okay.
We're working here.
Sorry.
We need rehearsal space.
You're right.
We can work at my place, nobody around to complain.
Hey, you were damn good as Lear.
I was good in that. Nice of Shakespeare to write a great part for an old man.
Yeah, especially a man who died on his 52nd birthday.
Jesus, I hadn't thought about that in a long time. From where I'm sitting, it seems awful young to have done what he did.
Even worse, by the time Mozart was your age, he'd been dead for 50 years.
True, and spoken by a child who has not yet reached the ripe old age of 30.
I will reach it on Tuesday, in fact.
Son of a bitch, 30 years old on Tuesday. Are you doing something special?
Well, hopefully giving myself a reason to be able to look an 18-year-old kid in the eye.
How's tomorrow?
Tomorrow's good.
Meet me at my place anytime after noon.
Why afternoon?
You don't know many actors, do you? Never call an actor before noon.
Booth gets up to leave.
Got it.
You got a copy of the summation?
It's just a working draft.
Well, let me have it.
Lawrence searches his desktop and comes up with a handful of pages.
It's kind of rough.
Don't worry, I won't read it on the YouTube or anything.
I know.
Not everybody is a literary critic.
Booth is about to go.
Oh, wait a minute.
Well, what?
Where do you live?
Jesus, if my head weren't screwed on.
Booth scribbles his address and phone number on a piece of paper and hands it to Lawrence.
And my phone, if there's a problem.
But not before noon.
Right.
Lights down on the law office. Scene 2, Booth's kitchen. A large, cozy kitchen with a big old farm table and chairs. Upstage hallway is completely covered with framed photos, posters, programs, awards from Booth's career in local theater. Sun shines in through the kitchen windows. A bit of garden, trees, roses, lawn visible in the back. Booth is making a pot of coffee when there's a knock on the door.
Come on in.
Lawrence comes in, casually dressed, flannel shirt, khakis.
Hey,
May you take your coffee.
black, thanks.
Booth pours boiling water over coffee grounds in a French press pot.
You find the place okay?
Sure. Phones tell you how to get everywhere now.
Right.
You're really in the middle of nowhere. Is it safe living alone at your age?
Nothing in life is safe. Never was, never will be.
I've never been to Canby. Not much out here except farm stands and an airstrip.
And the county fair.
Right. Well, what is that, like 1 week in August?
4 days.
Lawrence sees his wall of fame with framed posters, reviews, photos, awards.
Wow. You've done a lot.
That's what happens if you live long enough.
Look at that. Drammy Lifetime Achievement Award.
Case in point, it's just local, not national or anything.
You've been prolific.
Yeah, my own personal wall of fame. Here's how it works. You wake up feeling like shit and like you haven't slept more than 5 minutes all night, and as you stagger down the hall to take a piss, you get a little photo tour of your life and start feeling like you did all right. And by the time you get to the bathroom, you no longer feel like drowning yourself in the toilet.
That's a good strategy.
Isn't that why lawyers hang their diplomas on the wall?
No, that's strictly to impress people enough to hire us.
Booth pushes the plunger on the coffee pot, pours 2 cups, and brings them over. They sit across from each other at the kitchen table. Lawrence takes a sip.
Good coffee.
If you have enough time, you can get good at anything you care about. I care about coffee.
You got a beautiful garden.
Thank you.
How many acres?
1.
It's nice that it backs up onto open land like that. I'd say it must be worth more than $350 by now.
Maybe
3 bedrooms?
4.
Definitely more.
That'd be nice.
Do you have a family, next of kin?
Not sure. No immediate family.
No kids.
No. I thought I would have had some kids somewhere along the line, but I never did.
So no family at all.
I may have a brother someplace, but he'd just drink it away, whatever's left after he's done gambling. He's not getting anything from me. Plus, I got no reason to think that he might be alive. He was older than shit, 8 years older than me.
Which would make him over 90.
Way older than shit.
What was his name and date of birth?
Why?
It's better to check. Why take a chance that some drunk old gambler might show up and make trouble?
I see your point. Ralph Eugene Miller, December 16, 1929.
Okay, I'll see what I can find out. Are you in a relationship now?
A relationship?
Do you have a special friend, significant other, girlfriend, or boyfriend?
No girlfriends. At my age, they run like rabbits. Nobody wants to get stuck being nursemaid to an old geezer that can't get up without the goddamn little blue helpers. I mean, I hate the little blue sons of bitches, but they're a godsend. So what are you going to do? Huh? Tell me that.
I'm sorry, I couldn't tell you. So no girlfriends?
And not likely to be any.
No nieces, nephews, cousins?
Nope.
Dog, cat, parrot? Parrot would probably outlive you.
No. Jake was my last dog. He's been gone for a few years now. Yeah, there comes a time in life when you can't start over with another dog. It's not fair.
What about charities? Do you have a favorite charity?
I lost faith in pretty much all the institutions. A lot of those charities have CEOs that take millions of dollars in salary, or they're crooked in some other way. I'm not lining some fat cat's pockets, how's that?
Maybe leave it to one of the local theaters. Isn't there one you'd like to be generous to?
I've worked up too many grudges, I guess.
Then why not spend it? Sell the place, sail around the world, see the great theaters of London, Paris, Moscow. I mean, we've still got some great living actors I'd pay a lot to see. McKellen, Mirren, Maggie Smith. Maybe cruise around the world.
I'm too old to move. I'll stay put until I keel over. I'm not spending my last days boxing up a lifetime worth of debris.
You could get a reverse mortgage, live on your equity.
After how hard I worked to pay it off, just run it back into debt?
Enjoy the rest of your life in a bit of luxury. You've earned it.
That's not going to happen. I'll figure something out.
Okay, well, let me know.
Booth looks over the pages. Lawrence gives him yesterday, which are spread out on the table.
The pages you gave me were disturbing.
I know. I'm sorry.
When Jimmy was 4 months old, his grandmother found cigarette burns on the baby. She took pictures of him and sent them to the police. No one followed up. The pictures were apparently lost. This was the first time the state failed him.
Yeah, I never heard of anyone who had a tougher start in life.
It was total shit.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see if we can help. And there's a playwright trick I've learned from working with quite a few of them. At the end of an important emotional moment like this one, you put the impactful word at the end of the sentence so that it hangs in the silence that follows and it vibrates like a bell.
Can you give me an example?
Right? You say, this was the first time the state failed him. Better if you say, this was the first time the state failed Jimmy.
Good. Yeah, that's good.
So if you, sorry.
Lawrence scribbles a note. Booth flips to the next page.
So a few years later, Mom gets committed to a mental hospital, and Jimmy and his brother Joey live with their father, who sells them to his friends for sex. When this started, Joey was 5 years old. Jimmy was 4.
Yeah.
You read about the meth problem in Oregon, the epidemic really, and you see pictures of addicts with rotten teeth and open sores who aged 10 years in a few months. But I hadn't realized what it might mean for their kids.
And the boys started running away a couple years later. There was a public recycling bin they'd crawl into to sleep because the newspapers kept them warm.
Then the police picked them up and put them into foster care, which turned out to be just as abusive as their father had been. Jesus Christ, are you sure about all these details?
Yeah, I got a dozen sworn depositions from other kids in the same homes, as well as physical evidence from the police files and hospital records.
So this was the second time the state failed the boys.
They ran away again and again and kept getting picked up.
They must have been so small it was easy to spot them.
They weren't trying to hide. They were just trying to survive.
Never had a chance.
You know, the longest this kid has ever slept in a bed is these 2 years on death row.
You should use that.
Booth goes to the freezer and pulls out a package wrapped in foil.
Can I interest you in a little brownie? Katharine Hepburn's famous recipe.
Does it have an extra special ingredient?
Indeed it does.
No thanks.
Oh, come on, it's legal now.
I know, but I'm working at the moment.
True.
And I have an aversion held over from law school. Getting busted used to mean you'd never practice law again.
Now, when you get to be my age, ooh, you will sing a different song.
Maybe. Is it medicinal?
It's medicinal grade. The good stuff. I mean, I use it in combination with Vicodin.
For pain?
Pain, sleeplessness, anxiety, depression, and for a good time. I mean, all the shit that comes from being 83 years old, but I don't drink. Got to draw the line someplace.
No, Vicodin's addictive.
And it's only a problem if you try to go off it. I have no plans to do that, and my doctor agrees.
Okay, then. Doctor's orders.
Is Jimmy allowed visitors in prison?
Yeah, I go see him.
I'd like to meet him. Is that possible?
Sure, it's possible.
When are you going?
I'm driving out there tomorrow.
Tomorrow is good for me. Now let's get to work.
Booth hands the papers to Lawrence.
Right. The summation to the jury.
I've seen a lot of those on TV. Sam Waterston, mostly.
Law and order.
Right. How long is it?
10 minutes, maybe 12.
Not counting holding for laughs.
For the laughs?
I'm sorry. Do you have to memorize it?
Yeah, but I can do that.
Well, lucky you. Okay, then. Let's hear it.
Lawrence takes his position solemnly, his eyes sweeping the audience, representing the imagined jury.
Wait a minute.
Really?
Couple of things.
Before I even open my mouth.
Yeah. Don't sweep the jury with your eyes. Stop and look at each one of them in turn. Speak to one person at a time.
Okay.
Did you ever study music? Singing, maybe?
I took choir in high school.
Do you remember dynamics?
Not really, no.
Well, changing the volume, choosing when to get quiet and when to get loud. You're not Jesse Jackson shouting from the pulpit. You need to go quiet sometimes so that when you do bring on the big voice, it'll have more impact. Get down to nearly a whisper and make them lean forward in their seats in order to hear you. Make them come to you.
Which parts should be quiet?
I think you know.
The intimate details? Shocking sexual stuff?
Exactly. It's an intimate thing between you and the jury. It's like you don't even want the gallery to hear them. It's just for them.
That's helpful.
When you raise your voice, they brace themselves for a storm. But when it's quiet, people can think.
Got it.
And don't get angry.
Wait, don't get angry. Isn't my rage one of my aces? Don't I want to play the drama card?
Well, yes, but don't get angry at the jury. If you seem to be attacking them, they'll get defensive and steel themselves against you. They're not the enemy. They're the cavalry riding in to save you.
Okay.
Treat it with intelligence. Don't talk down to them.
Okay.
They're good, decent, honest people. Trust them to recognize the integrity and honesty of your story.
Lawrence jots notes as Booth talks.
Good and decent.
They are human beings with human hearts. Be willing to touch them and move them. Make them feel it. The pity, the fear, the horror, and the sadness of this case.
How do I do that?
You have to be willing to feel it yourself. If you feel it, they'll feel it. Open yourself up.
But what if they're not smart and honest and human? What if they're coming into this with their minds made up? Prejudice and ignorance and bitterness hardened in place.
Well, that's the risk you take. But if you assume the best about people, most of the time, they'll try to rise to the occasion. Treat them like they're smart and they'll try not to disappoint. People have integrity. They want to do the right thing. Given the chance, most people will rise.
I hope you're right.
With age comes wisdom. Okay, let's hear it.
This young man you see before you is not the boy who killed Tom Daggett. This young man is 18 years old and has spent the last 2 years in the penitentiary lifting weights. The boy who walked into Daggett's house the night of December 11th, 2018 had just turned 16. He weighed 114 pounds. He had walked down from the mountains with his old dog in the cold and freezing rain. He was exhausted, soaked through, and close to hypothermia. His old dog Milo was worse off than him. His paws were bleeding. Jimmy needed a car so that his dog wouldn't have to walk anymore. He saw a car in the Daggett's driveway. The house was dark. The door was unlocked. He went in looking for the keys of the car. At barely 16, he didn't have a driver's license. He wasn't sure he could drive a car, but he felt like he had to try.
Jesus, you got lucky with the dog.
What do you mean?
Everyone loves dogs. That'll help you.
He was an old beat-up mongrel. I don't know where the kid picked him up, and when the shotgun went off, the dog had a seizure. After the kid was locked up, the dog didn't last long.
Well, I'm sorry for him, but good Lord, the seizure is a gift. Any actor worth his salt would have volunteers.
I wish you could deliver the summation.
Do they have pinch hitters in the courtroom trials?
No.
How do you know the dog didn't last long?
I asked around, found out which animal shelter the police had taken him to, and drove over and adopted him. He died within a couple of weeks, probably sooner than he might have done if he hadn't lost Jimmy. He had no interest in living.
Understandable. Well, he gave his life for a good cause, hopefully saving his masters.
I hadn't thought of it like that.
How far away is the prison?
About an hour.
South?
Yeah, Salem.
All right, you can pick me up on your way down. What time?
2. And they have a few rules about visiting the penitentiary.
What kind of rules?
You can't bring anything in. No gifts, snacks, books, nothing. You have to leave all your things in a locker before going inside.
Okay.
Oh, and don't wear blue.
Don't wear blue?
Right.
Why not?
Because that's the color the prisoners wear. In case there's trouble, they don't want any confusion. Oh, and don't mention the dog, being dead.
You're kidding.
No.
You haven't told him his dog died?
That's right. I show him pictures of Milo when I visit him.
I thought lawyers weren't allowed to lie to their clients.
No law against it. Most lawyers do.
Really?
Sure. Hey, we'll get an appeal. We've got a good chance. Don't give up hope.
You sound like a little league coach.
He's a kid on death row. He has nobody but an old dog. He's afraid of being lethally injected. You think I should just tell him his dog died?
Okay. Jesus. What happened to his brother, Joey? He's around 19 now, right?
He didn't make it.
What does that mean, he didn't make it?
When the judge sentenced Jimmy to death, Joey went out and hanged himself. He was gone before the prison bus even got out of Salem.
Blackout. Scene 3. In the darkness, sounds of steel prison doors slamming shut, followed by the sound of a couple of metal lockers closing. Lights come up on a metal visiting booth in the state penitentiary. The two sides divided by a thick glass window on the top half, a steel shelf, sort of desk on both sides of a metal wall halfway down to the floor. Lawrence enters, followed by Booth. They squeeze into the metal chairs on the visitor side of the box. While they're waiting.
Did you become a lawyer because it's in your name?
No, at least I hope not. Besides, it was a mistake.
Becoming a lawyer?
No. My name being spelled like the LAW, the law, Lawrence.
What was it supposed to be?
My mother's favorite actor was Laurence Olivier. She named me for him. She told my father, and he filled in the birth certificate form, spelled it wrong.
No shit. So what we have here is an actor named after a lawyer and a lawyer named after an actor. We're going to plan something like that.
I guess this was meant to be.
The iron door opens on the other side, and Jimmy enters. He's 18, but he looks young for his age.
How you doing?
Okay.
This is a friend of mine, C.D. Booth.
People call you CD?
Mostly they call me Booth.
He wanted to meet you. I hope it's okay.
Oh, well, I don't mind. But I don't know why anybody'd want to meet me.
Well, why not?
How's Milo?
He's hanging in. Still misses you.
Me too.
Lawrence pulls up a photo on his phone and shows it to the boy through the glass. Jimmy's face lights up. This is always his favorite part of the visit.
He looks good, yeah?
Yeah, he looks happy. I dreamed about him the other night. He was playing fetch with Joey and an old tennis ball.
Sounds like it was a good dream.
Yeah, it was. A good one. Are you a lawyer too?
Oh,
Mr. Booth is an actor. He's helping me out with the case.
You're an actor? Would I have seen you in anything?
maybe. You have TV in here?
Yeah.
I played a priest on Grimm that gets murdered by a little boy possessed by the devil.
Yeah, I saw that. He tossed you through the air and you broke your neck on the altar or something like that.
Something like that.
Was that hard to do?
Not for me. That was partly a stuntman and partly CGI. But the guy covered in fake blood died on the floor. That was all me.
Cool.
I'm working on a retrial. We should know something in a couple of weeks.
I'm not holding my breath.
I know. Do you need anything?
I'm okay.
Do you have books in here? A library card or something?
Yeah, they have one, but I'm not much of a reader. I didn't grow up around books and I missed some of the grades in school. I like comic books, though.
Yeah? Which one do you like?
I like Spider-Man.
How can I get some Spider-Man comics to this fellow?
You can't bring anything in, but you can order a book and send it by mail from Amazon or a bookstore.
I will send you some Spider-Man comics. Are there some you already have? I don't want to duplicate.
I don't have any, so it doesn't matter which one.
Okay, then. I'll see what I can do. What did you like about Spider-Man?
He can climb walls.
Blackout. Scene 4. Lawrence is back in his office, alone and feeling discouraged. He goes through more files for things to take home to work on Jimmy's case, and he comes across a DVD in one of the boxes, reads the label, takes something out of him. He almost puts it away, then, what the hell, puts it into the DVD player and turns on the monitor. It's Tom Daggett's funeral at the high school football stadium. 10,000 mourners, and the school orchestra begins playing the Hallelujah Chorus from Handel's Messiah, and 500 voices of former students sing it together. Lawrence is moved by it, and then on cue, he begins to sing with them. The baritone part, perfectly memorized from when he was in high school and one of Mr. Daggett's kids. As his voice rises with the rest, lights fade to black. Act 2, Scene 1. At Rise, Booth's house. Booth and Lawrence work on the case. Papers and coffee cups on the kitchen table.
Every year, thousands of fifth graders across America write papers about democracy and send them into a national essay writing contest. And a few lucky winners get to go to Washington, D.C. and tour the White House and the Capitol building. And all of these prize-winning essays suck.
How do you know that?
Because you can't write well about anything in general. Democracy, liberty, God, freedom, even love. Nobody can write well about any of them. There's no there. What are you going to say? Freedom is the most important thing in the world. Our forefathers died to preserve our freedom. Totally sucks.
So how would you write well about freedom?
You'd write about the woman who ran away from her abusive husband and found her way to a shelter. And the first night, someone gives her a bowl of buttered popcorn. She smells it and tastes it and breaks down sobbing because in 11 years, under the fist of her abuser, she wasn't allowed to have popcorn. He was allergic, so it was forbidden. And if he smelled a whiff of popcorn on her, he would punch her in the face.
Oh.
So the popcorn
is freedom.
Yes.
Is it just symbolic like that?
No. It's the details. There is emotional power in the details that you don't get with generalities.
Did you study writing?
I actually learned that from listening to Bill Clinton's speeches back in the day. He wouldn't talk about the problem of the elderly. He'd talk about Edith, who goes to the market each week and buys 7 cans of dog food and doesn't own a dog. Instead of teen pregnancy, he'd talk about Brittany, who gave away a baby when she was 15, her second. Instead of the homeless, he'd talk about Walter, who did 2 terms in Vietnam and sleeps in a cardboard box behind the 7-Eleven.
I understand.
Visual details stick in the mud.
You mean like showing them pictures?
You don't need pictures. Your words are the pictures. A few carefully chosen details can put them right in the scene. Put them right there in the house when the gun went off.
What if I don't know the details? I can't make them up.
You can imagine some things that had to have been true. When the boy and his dog stepped into the old people's house, was he dripping rain on the floor? Did the dog's bloody paws stain the carpet before the real blood flowed? When the old woman turned on the light, was the boy blinded for a minute? You know these kind of details had to be true, right? I mean, what was the weather like that night?
38 degrees, sleet and rain.
Yeah, that's a fact. So, was he shaking? Were his teeth chattering? If the gun was loaded and cocked, it wouldn't have had taken much to trigger it. How loud did the blast sound to the kid and the old woman?
I get it.
The facts are compelling, but the emotional power is in the details. If you put us right there in the scene, you'll make us see it and hear it and feel it.
Feel it.
Make them care.
When you say an actor worth his salt would have them in tears, how do you do that? How could I do that?
All right, let's walk through it, one step at a time. The boy goes into the dark house looking for the keys to the car. The old woman surprises him and screams. He says, "I won't hurt you. I just need the car keys." But the old man rushes in, hearing his wife scream and deep in the throes of dementia. Both the boy and the old woman are yelling, "Stop, stop, stop, stop." But he doesn't stop. The gun goes off. The blast is deafening for a moment. The flash, the spray of blood. The old woman screams again. The dog falls to the floor and goes into convulsions. Both the woman and the boy are in shock. The old man's on the floor, bleeding out. The kid grabs a cushion from the couch and presses it onto the wound to stop the bleeding, hollering for the old lady to dial 911. And the kid looks over and sees old Milo in convulsions. He's not sure if his dog might die 10 feet away, and he can't go to him. He can't hold him, because if he moves, the old man is dead for sure. So he has to hopelessly watch Milo have a seizure while he tries to stop the old man's blood from pumping out into his hands and the cushion and the rug until the pumping stops. And somewhere out in the dark rain, the sound of a faraway siren is racing closer, but it will come too late.
Oh, wow.
Get it?
Yeah.
Make them see it, and they will feel it.
Okay. And when do I get loud?
He could have run. He could have saved himself, saved his dog. Did he run? No, he did not. He stayed right there holding pressure on the wound, trying to save Tom Daggett's life. He didn't want him to die. He didn't mean to shoot him. It just happened in that split second of panic and nightmare. Bang! The gun went off. And no matter how hard Jimmy tried, he couldn't undo it. Couldn't bring that old man back to life. But he tried to do just that. He tried.
Lawrence is now scribbling notes on his legal pad as fast as he can.
By God, he tried.
We need a little break now.
Pops up and heads to the refrigerator.
Okay.
What kind of person works on his 30th birthday?
I don't know. It's a 30-year-old.
I got a little something to celebrate the big 3-0.
I thought you didn't drink.
I don't. I don't.
Booth pulls his foil-wrapped brownies out of the freezer, scrounges around in a drawer for an old birthday candle, pokes it in one of the frozen treats, and lights it with a kitchen match.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. You finally hit 30. It's about freaking time. And don't forget to make a wish.
Lawrence blows out the candle.
Thank you.
What'd you wish for?
I can't tell.
No, but I guess I know what it is.
Booth cuts small squares of the fudge brownies and presents one to Lawrence on a paper napkin.
These are your special Katharine Hepburn brownies laced with cannabis.
I wouldn't use the word laced, but they're definitely spiked.
I better not. I'm working.
Bullshit.
No bull.
This will make you a better actor. Trust me.
Is it strong?
What do you think?
What the hell? You only turned 30 once.
Well, that's not true. I'm near the end of my third 30.
I should be so lucky.
Yeah. Good, right?
Oh my God. This is the best brownie I've ever tasted.
Did you think Katharine Hepburn's recipe would be anything less than sublime?
Yeah, well, do you think she'd approve of you revising her recipe?
I don't know. She's probably flipping in her grave even as we speak.
Probably.
Hang on.
Ruth goes to the fridge and pulls out a carton of milk and pours them each a glass.
Perfect. Cheers.
Cheers.
They clink and drink.
Do you have family?
Yeah. My parents are still alive down in Ashland, and I have a sister in California with a family.
Did they want you to be a lawyer?
They never told me what they wanted me to be. They trusted us to find our own paths.
How did you choose law? Please don't tell me you saw a play about Clarence Darrow and it changed your life.
No, not really, though I was inspired by that.
Hmm.
I found out when I was in high school that my father wanted to be a lawyer when he was young. He couldn't afford to go to law school. He became a high school teacher, history and English. Till I was 10, I thought everyone got the whole summer off.
So you took up the torch, as it were.
I guess my grandfathers were both Baptist preachers.
Oh, good. Perfect genetic makeup for a litigator.
It's funny. That never occurred to me.
Were they the fire and brimstone men?
One was. The other was quieter, more contemplative. A poet, almost.
Well, could be better. You need both.
Lawrence may be feeling a teeny bit high. Looks around at the sunlight pouring into the large kitchen.
Won't you need your house to fund your golden years in case you need to move to a nursing home or independent living?
No, I'm not ending up in one of those places.
Well, people don't always have a choice about those things.
I'll have a choice. I do have one.
Well, there are some things even you can't control.
Sure I can. I have a plan to exit stage left if I start to smell like a fruitcake or act like a vegetable.
Meaning if you start losing too many marbles?
Exactly.
So, what is it?
What's one?
Your plan?
Nothing for you to worry about. I got a little something tucked away.
What kind of little something?
You're my lawyer, right?
Yeah?
So anything I say to you has to stay between us, right? Attorney-client privilege?
Yes.
I've got a stash of insulin left over from a friend of mine who died. If things start to go south, a shot or two should do it.
You're not diabetic.
No, so it'll take less. You'll knock me out, then a coma, and then gone without a fuss.
You've thought it out. You've thought it out.
In detail.
What if it comes and you end up a vegetable?
I don't get a lot of company out my way. None, in fact. By the time the mailbox is overflowing and somebody comes knocking, I'll be long gone on the midnight train to Georgia. The Chattanooga choo-choo.
How will you know when it's time to board that train?
It's a tricky thing. I've already put my car in a ditch trying to see the driveway to the Burger King.
Whew. Were you hurt?
It's okay, except for a serious dent in my ego. The car was not so lucky, killed on impact.
but that wasn't the sign to exit stage left?
No, that was the sign to stop driving in the dark, and I had done. I can drive good in broad daylight, or good enough.
You got another car?
Yeah, though my insurance doubled. My own damn fault.
So how will you know when it's time?
I'll take my best guess. If I choose a day too early, what difference could it make?
Or a day too late?
Yeah, well, that is a problem. I'll have to leave myself a note. If lost, shoot up the stuff in the brown paper bag in the cheese drawer. All of it.
That might work.
Sure it will.
Oh, I might have found your brother.
Oh, shit.
Did he fight in Korea?
Yeah, he did.
It's him then. I thought it was. He was living in a VA in Oklahoma in 2015 and died there 4 years ago. I'm sorry.
Well, I didn't picture him in a veterans hospital.
Where'd you picture him?
In the gutter, maybe. Homeless, sleeping in a tent under a bridge someplace.
This was better than that, I guess.
What did he die of?
Alcoholism. Cirrhosis of the liver.
That figures. He took after Dad. It's why I don't drink.
Still, sorry for the loss.
Yeah, I guess I'll see him soon enough.
Do you believe that? Life after death?
I don't hold with religion, but I do believe in an afterlife.
You do? How'd you believe in that?
A few weeks after my father died, he came to me in a dream. He looked great, young and happy. And he said, son, whatever anybody believes, it ain't over when it's over.
And it seemed real.
It did. He put his hand on my shoulder and I could feel it, the weight of it. Then he laughed and he hugged me. He wasn't a hugging man, but that felt more real to me than when he was alive.
I don't think this stuff has any effect on me.
Wait for it. When you eat it, as opposed to smoking it, it takes longer, but comes on stronger. You'll see.
No, really, I don't feel anything.
Just wait. You know, working on your project these last few days, I feel better than I have in a long time. Less pain, less worries, less backing.
And why do you think that is? You feeling better?
I had something to think about besides my own aches and pains and petty complaints. That's not so complicated. Get over yourself. Think about somebody else. There's bigger troubles in the world than the old man forgetting his line.
Mm-hmm. You know, one of the things that makes me fight for this kid, take any of the worst weeks of my first 20 years. If I picked any one of them.
What were they, these worst weeks?
Oh, at 12, I broke my arm and had to miss a whole summer Little League season. It felt like the end of the world. When I was 17, Olivia Jennings broke my heart. I wanted to die, if only to make her feel bad. Even earlier, I remember accidentally setting fire to a field and Dad making me confess the fire chief who made me spend a week cleaning up the mess and replanting the trees. You take any week, the worst I can remember, and it's better than any week this kid has had in his whole 18 years of life. I mean, honestly, you could probably take any day even. My worst day against his best day, I'd still be better off. Just doesn't seem right.
No, but that's not your fault. That's life. Nobody gets dealt the same hand as the other guy.
Maybe not, but the lucky ones need to reach out a hand to the other guy, or what are we doing here?
That is the question.
Lawrence flops on the couch next to Booth.
Maybe I am starting to feel a little something.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about cheeseburgers.
Nice.
Or we could eat some more of those brownies.
No, eat too many of those and you will be sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can't really work when you're high on this stuff, can you?
Nah. I was pulling your leg.
Shit. I went through this in college, getting stoned when I was supposed to be studying. I almost flunked Western Civ.
What do you mean almost flunked? You got a C+?
No, B-. But God damn it, why would you do that?
You need a day off more than anybody I have ever known in a long time. This little break will make for a better performance.
I promise?
Trust me, this ain't my first rodeo. How'd you get into law school with a B-?
Oh, on a test, not for the course.
A long pause. They just sit there on the couch, slumped together, staring into space. They are so stoned.
You live out in the middle of nowhere. What do they have in Canby?
They got a place that delivers Chicago-style pizza hot to your door.
Oh my God.
On your birthday, not a chance, kid.
I'd arm wrestle you for it, but I can't move my arms.
Watch this. Hey, Zelda, go to ChicagoPizza.com. Order the usual.
Genius. Genius. You are a genius.
You live long enough to invent some cool shit.
What if you live to be 90?
I won't.
You might. Your brother did, and he was a total alcoholic.
What's your point?
But you can't be living out here all alone at 90 in Canby, Oregon?
If I can't be, then I won't be. I told you I'm not ending up in one of those places.
Wasn't there used to be a home for old actors someplace?
Yeah, used to be an old actor's home in Hollywood.
Well, you'd qualify for that, wouldn't you?
It went under. All the old actors were put out on the street with hardly any notice.
How could that happen?
I heard their big donors invested with Bernie Madoff and lost their tuxedo shirts.
Bummer. Can you imagine all those old actors on the streets panhandling on Hollywood Boulevard for spare change?
Sure. Hey, give me your spare change, you dirty copper. You hold out on me, I'll plug you right between the eyes. That was moving.
Lights fade to black. Scene 2. Lawrence's office. It's night. Lawrence is at his desk, mid-phone call.
Really? The 14th? Absolutely. We'll be ready. Thank you. Thank you so much. This means a lot.
Lawrence hangs up the phone and looks around, not quite knowing what to do with himself. He looks at his watch, then dials his cell phone.
Hey, it's me again. We got it. A new trial. Where the hell are you? I know you don't drive at night, so where the... Oh, shit.
He grabs his coat and runs out. Booth's house. Booth is lying on the floor, maybe unconscious, maybe just waiting, banging on the door.
Booth, are you home?
Sound of Lawrence going around to the backyard.
Booth!
The kitchen door is open and Lawrence lets himself in, moving quickly through the kitchen, and finds Booth lying on the floor.
Booth, you awake?
Drops to the floor beside the old man and feels Booth's neck for a pulse, but Booth rouses to consciousness and swats his hand away.
Not dead.
Well, thank God.
Lawrence is already dialing 911.
Don't do that.
Do you have a do not resuscitate order on file?
Sure, I'm sure I do. And an organ donor thing too.
Yeah, well, I hate to tell you, but nobody's going to want your 100-year-old organs. And I don't have to resuscitate you. You're already resuscitated. Yeah. I got a man down, conscious, 83 years old, a stroke or a heart attack maybe. How long have you been down?
Fuck you. Hang up the phone.
A few hours anyway. Conscious, pissed off. At 539 Cedar Street, Canby. Okay, thank you.
God damn it. You are not part of this plan.
Did you do it? Did you shoot up that insulin?
Not yet. I need you to hand me that little thing.
No, I can't do that.
I never should have told you the plan. It didn't occur to me that you'd be in a position to fuck it up.
And it didn't occur to you might be in a position where you couldn't get to it?
Shit.
Do you think you had a heart attack or a stroke? Or did you just fall down? How's your hip feeling?
Heart's my guess.
Yeah, mine too.
Just hand me the paper bag from the fridge. You don't have to know what's in it. Don't leave none of your DNA on it. Then go out front and delay the ambulance squad for 5 minutes. That's all I need.
No, I can't. I'd be disbarred. Plus, I don't believe in it. Suicide, assisted or otherwise.
It's legal in this state.
Yeah, doctor assisted, not lawyer assisted. Plus, we didn't finish your will. If you die right now, the state gets this beautiful house and the garden too.
Damn motherfucking son of a bitch.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
The siren gets louder as the lights fade. Scene 4. Back in the penitentiary visiting booth. Lawrence is there alone as Jimmy comes in.
Hey,
Hey,
how you doing?
good. Same.
Yeah,
You?
good.
You didn't bring your friend this time.
No, he had a heart attack.
A heart attack?
Yeah.
Sounds bad.
Well, it's not good, but it could have been a lot worse.
Is he gonna die?
Yeah, but probably not today. He's 83, but he's hanging in so far.
Well, tell him I said, get well soon.
I will.
I wanted to thank him for the Spider-Man comics.
They came. Okay? They came okay?
Yeah, they're good. I read them all the time, and I think I'm getting better at reading. I just started out looking at the pictures, but then I started figuring out what they were saying. So tell him that, I guess.
I will. We got a date for a retrial.
When?
July 14th.
Good.
It is. In France, it's a holiday called Bastille Day. They celebrate the day a couple hundred years ago when the people stormed the biggest, toughest prison in France and tore it down. Set all the prisoners free. So maybe it'll be good luck for us.
Funny. Maybe it will.
Lies in the bed, not looking too great. Hooked up to IV and heart monitor, Lawrence looks in.
Shit, they let just anybody wander in here? Don't you have to be the next of kin on a list or something?
I thought you had no next of kin.
All the more reason.
I said I was your lawyer.
And they bought that?
Yeah. Most people see a suit and tie and cave right in.
Yeah. Keep that in mind if I ever get out of here alive.
Speaking of which, how are you?
Yeah, how do I look?
Like shit.
Yeah, that's about the size of it.
They told me it was a heart attack.
Yeah, almost killed me. Almost being the operative word here.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, you should be. If you hadn't broken into my house, I'd be demised, passed on, ceased to be, expired,
Gone to meet your maker. A stiff.
bereft of life,
Resting in peace.
pushing up the daisies,
Rung down the curtain and join the choir invisible.
shuffle off these mortal coils.
An ex-actor. You were nailed to the perch, as Monty Python would say.
Yeah, right.
Well, I'm not sorry you're still breathing.
Yeah, that makes one of us.
Yeah, me.
You were within arm's reach of my ticket out of this, and you wouldn't lift a finger.
You think you waited one day too long?
I won't make the same mistake again if I get the chance.
Well, I wanted to make it up to you, so I brought you a little something.
Probably not the little something I'm hoping for.
I wouldn't be too sure.
He pulls a handkerchief from his suit pocket and unfolds it, revealing a good-sized homemade fudge brownie.
You brought me a brownie.
I baked you a homemade brownie from Katharine Hepburn's recipe.
Did you rifle my recipe box?
You didn't have to. You can get it online. Just type in Katharine Hepburn brownie recipe.
Really? I thought it was top secret.
Well, how did you get it?
Well, it's the 60s, so I can't swear to it, but I think I had to sleep with somebody.
Not Miss Hepburn herself, I hope.
Yeah, funny man. It was damn nice of you baking for me. It's been a while since anybody's done that.
Plus, I added a little something extra.
You're shitting me. Are you saying you baked me a special brownie?
Yes, I did do that. I baked you a very special brownie.
Jesus, you surprised me, Lawrence.
It's medical grade, and you look like that's about what you need.
You are a prince among men. I withdraw my earlier complaint. You will always henceforth be on my guest list.
Thank you.
Where'd you get it? The ganja.
Well, it turns out that now that it's legalized, it's not hard to get. There's a big marijuana leaf sign about as often as Starbucks.
Bless you, my son.
Booth unwraps the brownie and smells it, inhaling deeply.
Oh,
Huh? Does it pass the smell test?
It does indeed. I am saving this for bedtime, just the ticket for a good night's sleep, which is hard to come by in this place.
Booth carefully rewraps the brownie and slips it under his pillow.
I saw Jimmy yesterday. We got the retrial on the calendar.
Good. That's good. How's he doing?
Well, he got the comic books. He said thank you that he's learning to read from Spider-Man.
Good. I'm glad he got them. I've seen too many movies to have any faith in the prison mail delivery system.
He also said to tell you get well soon.
You shouldn't have told him about me. He's got enough to worry about.
He's pretty tough. I thought he could handle it.
It's a new trial.
July 14th.
No shit. Huh. Are you ready to storm the Bastille?
No,
Well, you will be.
I better be. I brought you another thing I promised you.
Lawrence pulls out an envelope with a folded document inside.
You got it done.
Sure. I spent 3 years and $500,000 getting a law degree. How long could a simple will take? You just need to fill in the blank, get a witness to sign it. Any nurse or orderly will do.
Thank you. I hope you got enough acting lessons from me to make it worth your time.
I feel like I got the better end of the deal, yeah.
So we're square.
We're square.
Thank you. I'd like to have seen you deliver your big speech to the jury.
Well, you might still make it.
Maybe.
You know, most people who make it to 83 make it to 84.
That's a load of hooey.
In case you hadn't noticed, you still have all your marbles.
Really, you think? Huh.
That's my educated opinion.
When you pay her a compliment, you'd pay her a compliment. My grandmother used to say, I don't have to believe in it to enjoy it.
So did you decide who you want to get your house?
By the way, it comes with everything in it. Furniture, car, garden, wall of fame, etc., etc., etc.
Booth pushes the call button attached to his bed. What do you need, Mr. Booth?
Can I get a witness?
I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch that. What do you need?
I need a witness.
You need a bedpan?
Sure, why not? Send little Richard in here with a pan. A witness can be anybody, right?
Right.
You got a pen on you?
Always.
As Lawrence reaches into his pocket and pulls out his pen, Booth unfolds the document to the last page and lights fade to blackout. Scene 6. Lights come up on the farthest corner upstage, half in shadow. Jimmy has come into the Daggett house on that winter night. He holds an old sawed-off shotgun over one arm and is looking around in the dark for the car keys. Unseen, Mrs. Daggett screams. Jimmy turns downstage, looking at her.
Don't be scared. I won't hurt you. I just need the keys to your car.
The old man, Tom Daggett, wearing pajamas, his white hair in wild disarray, not knowing what has happened, staggers toward the boy.
Stop! Stay back! Please stop!
The old man keeps coming toward him.
Stop!
As he gets close to the boy, towering over him, the gun goes off with a deafening blast. The old man falls back, lying on the floor. Instantly, Jimmy drops the shotgun and goes to the old man, grabbing a throw cushion and pressing it into the chest wound.
Call 911. Lady, the phone. 911.
And even with pressure, blood is pooling around the fallen man. Jimmy realizes he's dying. He turns frantically to see the old woman and is calling. Sees his dog having a seizure just out of reach.
Milo? Milo. It's okay. You're gonna be okay, boy. Don't die. Nobody die.
And as the boy begins to sob, lights fade out on the night of the crime. Scene 7. Lights come up on Lawrence, alone on stage, as he gives his summation to the jury.
Tom Daggett was a good man. I know he was a gifted teacher, beloved by thousands of kids. I know because I was one of them. This was a loss to everyone. Even before his death, Tom Daggett was lost to us, taken away by Alzheimer's. If he hadn't been stricken, he would have stopped walking toward that scared boy with a shotgun, and none of us would be here today. Which brings us to Jimmy Reynolds. As we've shown, the state has failed this boy over and over again since he was 4 months old, when Jimmy was sentenced to death for the horrific chain of events that occurred December 11th, 2018. It was the last time the state failed him. He wasn't an angel. He had a record, a long record of small infractions, misdemeanors, kid stuff, running away from home, from foster care, shoplifting. What did he steal? A hot dog from 7-Eleven, food somebody left on a table at McDonald's, an old dog nobody else wanted, and sadly, a shotgun from an unlocked pickup truck outside a bar. He tried to steal a car once, but he never stole one. And he never hurt anyone, not in a fight, not anyone. Until December 2018, he never hurt anyone at all. Now, I'm not asking you to let him out of prison, even though I think he deserves to be free. I'm not asking you because for Jimmy, this is the longest he's ever slept in a real bed since he was 4 years old. The longest time in his life he's been warm enough. Had 3 meals a day. He's willing to serve life in prison if that's what you decide. I'm just asking to move him off death row. Remove the fear of being put to death before he's old enough to buy a beer. Let him take high school classes, maybe get a diploma, instead of sitting alone in an 8x12 concrete cell, completely cut off from life. Let him eat meals with other men. You know, given the life he's led, Jimmy had every reason to grow up to be a monster. The most remarkable, really almost miraculous thing about this case is that he didn't do that. He's a quiet, humble, kind, and decent person. In my line of work, you rarely come across that. A violently abused child who became a good man. I lost a friend recently. Somebody I learned a lot from. And one of the things he told me was, if you assume the best about people, most of the time, they'll try to rise to the occasion. People have integrity. They want to do the right thing. Given the chance, most people will rise. That's what I'm asking you to do today. What I'm trusting you to do. Rise.
Scene 8, Booth's house. Lawrence leads Jimmy into the kitchen. Jimmy is now 23. His hair is a little longer, and he's got a mustache. Lawrence is older too, of course, and sadder, though this exact moment is one he's been looking forward to.
This is your house now. Everything in it was left to you in a will.
That's crazy. Who'd leave me a house?
His name was C.D. Booth. He was a little crazy. He was an actor.
That guy you brought to see me?
No, you remember him.
Sure, I've only ever had 2 visitors. You and him.
Well, yeah, him.
He died?
Yeah, he did.
He was your friend who died that you talked about at the trial?
Yes.
In my whole life, I never thought I'd have my own house. I never even thought I'd get out of prison. Except for you, I wouldn't have.
It was a combination of factors.
What do you mean?
Overcrowding, the pandemic, a jury that was calmer and more reasonable than your first trial.
Maybe. It's still mostly you.
And C.D. Booth, he helped me a lot.
Why would he do that? To help me get out and then leave this whole house to me?
He didn't have a family. He didn't have anyone else to leave it to. It's paid for, but you'll still need to come up with a few thousand a year for property tax and gas and electric.
Oh, well, I can get a job. I don't mind working.
Yeah? What kind of job are you interested in?
Oh, well, something outside. Mowing lawns, maybe. When we were driving around over here, I saw a lot of people around here have lawns, and some of them need mowing. Do you think he had a lawnmower, Mr. Booth?
Yeah, I think he probably does.
Power one or a hand pusher? Because I wouldn't mind a hand push one.
I think there's a power mower in the garage.
Well, that's good too.
And you got a big backyard of your own here.
I do.
Yep. You can even grow a garden if you want to, vegetables or flowers or whatever you like.
I'd like to grow a garden and make a bird feeder and something for squirrels, maybe. Do you know what squirrels eat?
Nuts, I think.
Well, I could sit outside and watch them eat squirrels and birds.
Yeah, that'd be peaceful.
Is there a fence? If there's a fence, I could have a dog.
There is a fence, but well, the truth is that
It's okay. I know about Milo.
what do you mean?
I know that he's dead.
How do you know that?
Well, he was old, and that night the old man was killed. Milo had a seizure. I thought he might die right there, but he didn't. I asked around. Once an old dog starts having seizures, it's only a matter of days, maybe weeks, and it's been years since then.
I'm sorry.
It was nice of you, pretending.
Why didn't you tell me that you knew?
I liked imagining him alive, and I liked it when you'd show me pictures of him and make up stories about things that he did. Where did you get the pictures from?
Well, when you had your first trial, I wasn't a lawyer yet. I hadn't passed my bar exam. I sat in the courtroom watching the trial.
I didn't see you there.
Oh, you had your back to us, and there were a lot of people there.
I guess there were. Mostly his students from when he was a teacher. Why were you there? Was it an interesting case to study?
It was, but it's not why I was there.
Why were you?
I knew Mr. Daggett.
You were one of his students?
I was.
That doesn't make sense. If you were one of Daggett's kids, why did you do all this? Why did you help me?
It felt like it was what Mr. Daggett would have wanted. He was always willing to give a kid a second chance, including me.
Well, I wish I'd known him. I wish a lot of things had been different.
I know. When I heard Mrs. Daggett testify about that night and about your dog, I found out where he'd been taken, and I went over to the shelter and adopted him.
You did?
It wasn't his fault. You know, it didn't seem fair for him to be locked up just for being your dog. I knew he was on his last legs, so I took a lot of pictures. I wasn't planning to use him like that. It just worked out that way.
Did he have a good death?
Yes, but as good as a dog can have, I guess. I mean, his last meal was a Whopper with cheese.
He loved Whoppers.
Well, he was happy to get a hold of that one. Double meat, double cheese.
Well, I'm glad. And thank you for taking care of him.
I have a confession. I did something that you're never supposed to do under any circumstances.
What?
I got a puppy as a gift for someone.
Anyone I know?
Yeah. How would you feel about that?
Jimmy is obviously touched and excited about this idea, but trying to keep his emotions in check.
Oh, I've seen worse things.
Yeah?
Sure.
You want to meet him?
I guess. I mean, I might as well, since you went through all the trouble.
Okay.
Lawrence goes out to the kitchen door to the garage and comes back with a cardboard box that is shaking and whimpering a bit. He hands it to Jimmy, who opens it and pulls out a puppy about 2 months old. Jimmy sits on the floor holding it as the puppy wiggles around and licks his face. He's trying not to cry.
Think it'll be okay?
Yeah. He looks kind of like Milo when he was young.
I tried to find one that would grow up to look like him.
I'll have to teach him not to chase squirrels.
Or you could just put the squirrel feeder out of his reach, up a tree.
That's a good idea.
I don't think there's been a dog born that wouldn't chase a squirrel if he had the chance.
I don't suppose there was.
So what do you name him? Milo the Second?
No. I think I'll name him CD.
I like that. His full name was Clarence Darrow Booth. He was named after a famous lawyer.
You like that, Clarence? Sure you do.
Lights fade out. End of play. Lawrence Taylor was played by Tom Walton. C.D. Booth, played by Tobias Andersen. Jimmy Reynolds was played by Asher Ross, and your friend and humble narrator by Don Stewart Burns.